Hello, it's Dr. Courtney, also the Courting Happiness podcast. Have you checked out our happiness library? It's a carefully curated library with books that I highly recommend that are a must for your happiness library. Go to drcourtneyaulston.com/happiness library. That's drkortneyaulston.com/happiness library. The authors you will hear on the podcast can also be found in our happiness library. You can also purchase their books on our site. On top of that, your purchase also helps this podcast and the mission of courting happiness. Let's spread happiness and the word. Check out books on the Courting Happiness Library. It will not only change your life, but it can also help you with your next chapter too. Let's get back to the podcast. Welcome to the Courting Happiness podcast. This is a space where self-care becomes part of your day. A space where you learn evidence-based strategies to help your life, share it with those you love, and cultivate well-being at work. I'm your host, Dr. Courtney Alston. I'm a former news director, television reporter turned happiness scholar, TEDx speaker, and transformational trainer. I also understand hardships. While working my dream job in television, I lived a nightmare suddenly becoming a young widow after 86 days of marriage. I became committed to learning more about resilience, healing, and happiness. This is how I discovered my area of research, which is positive psychology. Now I'm living my calling of training individuals and organizations on happiness. And my new chapter begins with being happily engaged. The Courting and Courting Happiness is about a true courtship. I like to say commitment with happiness. The K in courting stands for the vulnerability of sharing my story, inspirational interviews with phenomenal people, the infusion of positive psychology, and so much more. You'll learn how to commit to your well-being one episode at a time. I hope you subscribe and share. So, are you ready? Let's get started. Welcome to episode 70. I'm Dr. Courtney Alston. I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you so much for listening. Well, in positive psychology, gratitude is associated with happiness. Individuals feel more positive emotions, they remember good experiences, and build stronger relationships. Gratitude also happens to be my favorite subject to talk about. It can even help with adversity. And we have a special guest that will share how it transformed her life. Kristie Anne Mah is a best-selling author, BodyTalk practitioner, and mindset expert. After a devastating loss, followed by her husband's cancer diagnosis, she is living proof that when you have a dream in your heart, you should follow your path. This motivational speaker lives her best life, full steam ahead in every respect, with a positive outlook. Kristie Anne looks forward to inspiring individuals even during darkness. I will admit, I truly enjoyed every second with speaking with Kristie Anne. You're actually going to hear how she and I genuinely connected. She is extraordinary, and I'm so grateful, so very grateful that she is sharing her journey and expertise on courting happiness. Be sure to check out Kristie Anne's episode page at drcourtneyaulston.com/podcast/episode 70. Well, it's time. Let's dive in. So, I am so happy. I am so happy to have you here, Kristie Anne Mah. You are just incredible in terms of your work. I have been so super excited to be able to talk with you. I am so excited that you're on the podcast. And we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, which happens to be gratitude and how gratitude can serve us in terms of the healing process. But the interesting part, before we get to that, and before we get to you talking about how gratitude transforms your life, I am just so in awe of your story in terms of your husband being diagnosed with cancer and a survivor. And how do you go about really having this positive mindset going through so much in regards to your family?
Well, thank you for that question. It has been quite a journey. We're coming up on 5 years now, and to be honest, our story our story began long ago, but this journey started for us 6 years ago when my husband was given an option to move for his career. So we took that opportunity to relocate cities, but of course, at the time with young children, it felt tumultuous. We were leaving our family. I was quitting my career to support him. And at the same time that we were moving, literally the day that the moving trucks were at our house is the day that I took my father to emerge, and he was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. I had unfortunately lost my mom a few years earlier, and so when he was diagnosed, we explained to him that we were going to also sell his house and move him with us to our new city. We did so, and I took care of him for 9 months until he passed away. And it was 10 days later that my husband was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. So you can imagine that at that point, we threw our hands in the air and we thought, okay, we've been through death, we were going through illness, we've been through moving, we've been through me quitting my career. Like, what is going on here? And we had a cry the day that he was diagnosed. And then I said to him, well, you're my husband, and now you're my project, and I don't take less than an A++. And to be honest, we never cried again. We chose in that moment that somehow we had to find the bright light and use gratitude to transform the inner emotions of anger, fear, worry to love. And once you do that, you raise your vibration and you heal. And here we are. I mean, he's known as the pancreatic poster boy of Canada. He does not like the word miracle because he says he works very hard on it, as we both do. But it's been a transformative journey and an eye-opening moment for us to use it as a gateway to learning about the power we truly have within ourselves.
I'm just so in awe of your story, and also as it relates to all of the things that were happening in your life. You're talking about all different levels of your family when we think about it, right? And I am just in awe of the fact of your, as I mentioned earlier, your positive outlook. But then also it seems that it was, as you mentioned earlier, the cry and almost kind of setting yourself free on so many different levels. How do you go about really capturing the dynamics of focusing on gratitude when you're dealing with so much as it relates to challenges?
Well, to be honest, to me, you have to use gratitude in two ways. You have to use gratitude in your conscious mind, where have beautiful vision boards that maybe are on your wall of all the things that you're appreciative of, using a gratitude journal, which is why I published a gratitude journal. But it's in coupling that's method 1, with method 2 of using gratitude in your subconscious mind, which is so much more powerful. Your subconscious mind is 1,000,000 times more powerful than your conscious mind. And so by accessing your subconscious mind through meditation, and that is 100% exactly why I created the masterclass I created, to teach people how to create a healing space in their subconscious mind where they can practice gratitude on a daily basis at that deep level. That is what is going to transform your body, your life, your whole entire reality from the inside out.
Wow. I've talked about gratitude very often. And what I love is how you're mentioning how it really is about transforming your life from the inside out, and allows us to see what we have opposed to thinking about what we don't have. How has it allowed you to kind of capture all that, the beauty that you have, even if you're going through hardship or levels of adversity?
Our brains, in my opinion, from all the research that I have done, are actually wired to have negative thoughts. So it is a retraining of those neural pathways. So for me, it's catching those thoughts, and this is what I tell my children, and the things they are manifesting in their lives from using gratitude at their young ages is blowing me away. But it's taking those thoughts when they come in and saying, no, thank you, I'm going to replace that with this thought of gratitude, this thought of passion and love, and just being appreciative for every small moment. And the more that you do that, it's like going to the gym. I often say, you don't go to the gym once and come home with a six-pack. That would be nice. I wish that was reality. But it is a constant exercise. And the essence of it is that you attract what you put out. We are creating our own realities, and that is something that is very difficult for people to wrap their minds around. But once they do, it's like the light bulb goes off and it becomes this fun, like, why would we not choose to have gratitude every day and choose to have fun on a deep level? And you just start to see it manifesting all around you.
I love that, in terms of being able to see all the beauty around you. And I love how in your life it appears to be really a collective dynamic, right? It's not just you. How has gratitude really kind of served in terms of your entire family unit?
It is the essence of who we have become. And don't get me wrong, it's not all roses, and life isn't meant to be all roses. It's taking those dark moments, whether they're little on a day or big on a day, and transforming them into gratitude. Gratitude, for some, doesn't necessarily come easily. It takes practice, but it is 100% worth it. And for us, we talk about gratitude every day, whether we're meditating as a family, whether we're just taking moments to be appreciative of that which is around us. And I tell my kids often, right, we're raised in a society, I believe, where it's always the next thing. I will be happy when I have my dream house. I will be happy when my podcast reaches this many viewers. I will be, this when. When really, the essence of life is the gratitude in each and every moment, just to be alive, just to be breathing and eating and walking and having the opportunity to meet wonderful people such as yourself. So when you look at those moments each and every day and start to teach those around you, it does become a family unit, and it becomes how you live. And then you see that spread out into your friends, those in your world, and my goodness, if we all lived like that, what a new world it would be, wouldn't it?
That is so true. So true indeed. I'm so curious, what does it look like with your friends?
Oh, I find that it's funny, through this journey, for sure, in 5 years, friendships have ebbed and flowed, which is very natural. And it's, again, just trusting that when you have gratitude for opportunities that come your way, that which is aligned with you will stay, and that which isn't will not. So not everyone understands how, Terry's main tumor was gone from energy healing and using our healing place that I teach in the masterclass to have gratitude for life. Like, it's an interesting concept for people that are suffering through something, right? It takes work to cross that barrier and that bridge, but once you do, that is when the gateway opens. And it's really about using gratitude. This would be one of my key points. Using gratitude to realize that life is happening for you, not to you.
I had to pause on that one. Life is happening for you and not to you.
Right.
Wow, that is so profound.
Well,
because when we think about that, we understand the goodness around us, right? Yeah. And I love that, because I have a dear friend that says, well, everything is happening in my favor.
Yeah.
And I love what you just shared, because that is so profound in terms of really welcoming and valuing the levels of gratitude, And then also in terms of the whole positive outlook, but that heightened level of optimism that really serves us across the board.
100%. And to be honest, that we are now almost at the point, being 5 years into Terry's cancer journey, where we can thank it for being there. Like, we are aware, we have gratitude for his cancer because it's taught us and changed the trajectory of our pathway, and it is both of our destinies to share hope and inspiration with the world based on what he was dealt. So we then view that as, this cancer happened for you, not to you. It happened for you to change his life, to change our lives, and to share goodness and gratitude with the world.
I love that. I thank you so much for sharing that with us. That is just, I love the fact that it speaks to the level of not only value and gratitude, but it also speaks to it as his great teacher as it relates to us in terms of, sharing and showing us all of the beauty that is in our world, even when we feel that our world may be dark at that moment. And I just love what you're sharing in terms of how that has served your family and how it serves, really, when you think about it too, it's also serving all the people that is around you and that are really benefiting from not only your message as in terms of your family, but this really global message that you've created, and really making sure that all of us in this world have an opportunity to really value the strength of gratitude. I think it's the work that you're doing is just simply incredible. Just simply incredible. Someone is listening, I'm sure, and they're thinking, well, I don't know how I can incorporate that. Especially if I have a new listener that is coming in and listening, because I talk about gratitude so often. For me, it's like a best friend. I just love it.
Yep.
For someone who's listening and is saying, well, I don't know how I can even incorporate that in my life, what is your advice to them?
I have two key pieces of advice. One, and this is again why I've created these tools to help make it simple, right? It does not have to feel overwhelming. It shouldn't feel overwhelming. It should feel like a simple task that you incorporate in your day to slowly take those baby steps to transformation. And to be honest, the transformation for many happens so much faster than they realize, that then they're throwing their hands in the air and saying, why did I not do this 10 years ago? But circling back to your question, I would use a gratitude journal, which is exactly why I created my gratitude journal for life, which is available on Amazon. That feeds your conscious mind, right? Taking 5 minutes a day or less to be appreciative of those little things. And that's the key reminder, is that it doesn't have to be something monumental. It doesn't have to be a big win every day. Be appreciative that you had a delicious cup of coffee that was warm and you weren't interrupted while you had the opportunity to enjoy it. It can be something as simple as that. And it's coupling that with my masterclass, Mindful Expansion Masterclass, which teaches you again how to create a healing place in your subconscious. I know that sounds out there, but it's so simple and easy. And when you're in your healing place, to then connect and spend 5 minutes of what you have gratitude for on a deeper level, it really helps to increase the speed of transformation and increase the impact that gratitude can have on your life. And the reason I say that, this is important for listeners, I think, is that if you think of a ladder, physical is on the bottom, right? So if something hurts and you take a pain medication to treat that, you're treating the physical symptom. Then you work through your vital, then you get to your conscious mind, and then at the top is your subconscious mind. There's extra layers of subconscious, etc. But when you use something like the masterclass, in your subconscious mind, you're then transforming all layers underneath it. all layers underneath it. Again, this goes back to my husband using gratitude as a transformative tool in his subconscious, that his main pancreatic tumor was gone from doing this work alone, proven by CT and shared in my book, The Day the Cancer Quit.
Wow. And I will like to add that Kristie's book will actually be in our happiness library, so you can grab your copy of The Gratitude for Life and The Day Cancer Quit. I'm so happy that it's a part of our Courting Happiness library, and that you can also purchase it directly as it relates to Amazon right there on her page, as well as visiting her episode page that you'll also find on drcourtneyaustin.com. I am so excited that you talked about the power, really, the transformative power of writing in a journal. How can a person begin taking those steps to kind of write effectively in a journal? And when do you recommend for that person to begin writing? Is it something that they should do in the morning, something that you feel should be done in the evening? What are your kind of your best practices as it relates to practicing gratitude, especially in terms of journaling?
I think that those are both great times, and everyone is so different. I think that really correlates to whether you're more of a morning person or more of a night owl. Myself, I'm more of a night owl, so I find I use my gratitude journal at night to reflect back on the day and what has occurred and what I have gratitude for, because then, as well as I'm going to sleep, those are the thoughts in my mind. Right? I'm going to sleep and entering into that relaxed subconscious alpha state and down into theta with those thoughts seeping in and just helping me relax and rejuvenate through the night. So on the other hand, those that love to awake at 5 in the morning and have their cup of coffee before everyone else is up, those are great moments. So I think either or have their benefits, and it kind of correlates whether you're a morning person or a night person. My number one tip is to not put pressure on yourself. We are in this society of, you have to do this, you have to do this, here's my list. Don't just add it to the list of something else that has to be done in the day, or you will resent it and you won't appreciate it. For me, I don't write lists. It's like when I wrote my book, The Day the Cancer Quit, people would say, you need to write 1 hour a day, carve out your hour. I thought, I can't do that. I'm working a full-time career that I love. I am simply going to write when it feels right. And I would write one day, and then I wouldn't write for a month, and then one weekend I would write 2/3 of the book. And that's the thing, is you have to just take that pressure off yourself. And if you leave your gratitude journal on your nightstand and you see it morning and night, you'll want to pick it up if you don't put it on the list and make it an expectation. View it as an opportunity for growth instead of something else you just need to do.
I love that, because who doesn't need to add one more thing to the list? Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, come on, especially if you're living in the world of getting all these things done. And it's interesting because as I'm talking to you, my list is not too far away that has all these things that I want to do. But one of the things that's not on it is practicing gratitude, because it's a part of my being, as a part of my lifestyle. So I love that you're talking about how to, it's not about adding to your list, because that in a way can make it intimidating or maybe daunting, or just another thing to do, when it's just so much more than a thing to do. It's really something that, as you mentioned, how transformative it can be in terms of its practice. So you've mentioned your master class. Tell us a little bit more about your master class.
When Terry was first diagnosed, I asked my friend, I'm a certified BodyTalk practitioner now. This is a bit of a gateway to this. And I asked my friend to start doing 3 sessions a week on Terry, and I said, I need to learn this. And it was one of the first sort of variations of my master class that I learned. And essentially what it does is it uses a guided meditation to walk you down into your subconscious, where you create, honestly, a magical healing place, a workshop, a place of comfort, whatever that might look like. For someone, it may be an igloo. For someone, it may be a giant mansion. For someone else, it might be a tree house in the woods, right? You really trust yourself in that essence. And once you've created that, you can start using that on a daily basis to connect with gratitude. You can also use it to heal. You can use it to understand relationships. You can use it to manifest. I teach something called the Dream Diamond in this course, which is so powerful because there is a rule. When you're in that subconscious state of mind, the Dream Diamond is equated to a vision board. And the rule is that if your vision sticks to that board, think of like a live 3D animation, it is yours. And you'll see that if you try things that are not meant for you, they will bounce off, or the diamond will blow up, or, you know, something that's very cartoonish and fun. And I've tested this hundreds of times, and it's true. So it's having gratitude, not only for what the little things are, but having gratitude to open yourselves up by using this masterclass to that which is aligned with you. Because the truth is, there's so much more greatness out there waiting for all of us, but we have to open ourselves up to it. That is such a big part of the journey, is having gratitude for just trusting that we are divine individuals that have a destiny far greater than what we've ever conceived, and allowing those potentials to come in. And that is where the masterclass really comes in.
I love that. Your masterclass is, it's really transformative in terms of the approach. And also I love the fact of how it can really serve individuals with really trying to think about maybe their life differently, or try to really kind of really empower themselves. So it's such an empowering masterclass. I love it. And I look forward to, for those of you who are listening, I look forward to having it on the Courting Happiness podcast page. So you can have a chance to take a look at that on this episode page. And it will allow you to make sure that you are getting all the information that you need to access this incredible masterclass. I'm so grateful for the masterclass, and grateful for you in terms of sharing it with us. So I'm curious in regards to this, because one of the things that I've learned in regards to gratitude and the science of gratitude is how it can serve us in terms of making us feel either more joyful, and it's known to help us with our sleep. It's been known to help us as it relates to stress. How has it helped your family in one of those different elements, or helped you?
It has helped me and my family with all of those different elements, to be honest. But, since I started doing this work and really incorporating the practice of gratitude on all levels into my life, it's about opening our hearts, right? Our hearts, I have not experienced since I was a child that feeling of your heart just wants to burst with enthusiasm and with gratitude for life, love, and opportunity. And as I'm sitting here, I just feel the energy just blossoming from gratitude. It really helps with stress, because when you start to appreciate, and again, to circle back, that life is happening for you, not to you, when something's stressed, there's always going to be stress. Things are going to happen all the time in our environment, and it's about how we react to it. right? So if we pause, if we take moments to pause, in society we're also taught to be very reactionary. Someone sends us a text, you instantly da 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 in a heated moment and things escalate, right? It's about using every opportunity, as especially with stress, as an opportunity for learning. Use gratitude to say, I am grateful for this moment. What am I to learn from this? How am I supposed to respond to this? And take time. And the more you practice the gratitude, the more you trust as well. And you start to see solutions and responses unfold that were not available to you before, because you've expanded your entire mindset so much. And that is how it's changed me, and that's how my kids are learning. My 10-year-old raised her hand in class and said to her teacher, "Did you know your thoughts create your reality?" And her teacher said, "Well, yes, I did." And she's like, "Yeah." And so I see my kids using gratitude every day as a tool to accomplish their greatest dreams. And it's just amazing.
I love you. You're talking about your little girl, right? What is her name?
Vienna.
Vienna. You tell Vienna. She is incredible. She is incredible. And, and to be able to say that at 10 years old, right? That just says so much, and it says a lot about your teachings and the work that you're doing. I loved that you talked about, kind of how it's made you reflective. Because I think sometimes when we're thinking about gratitude, we think about, okay, what am I grateful for? But what I think was so really phenomenal about gratitude is really being present as relates to that, and being reflective as it relates to that. And I love that you talked about how should I feel, or really kind of thinking about it almost as a solutions-oriented dynamic. How has it really served you in terms of being really a great tool for your solutions?
Well, I just want to touch on something you said there about being in the present, because that is so important. And I'm sure you've talked about this lots with your listeners, but all we have really is the present moment. And that is, again, that's a concept to wrap your mind around. But the past, really, you're just worrying about something in the past. It doesn't exist in this moment. Same as the future. So everything I've learned, and Dr. Joe Dispenza is one of my greatest teachers, is that you want to be in the present moment and use gratitude as a tool of opening your heart and manifesting the future that you want, instead of the future that we're often, this is going to happen, or that could happen, or that. Instead of thinking that way, and my son Nixon, who's 12 years old, does this as well, use gratitude to say, this is what I'm creating, and I am going to use the power of gratitude and love to make that happen. And it is incredible to watch. Yeah.
I love that, in terms of, this is what I'm creating. Wow, your kids are incredible.
Well, I tell them that I wish I knew this when I was their age, but everything happens in its own time for a reason. So, yes, they're wonderful kids.
Yes, they are, and it speaks to the fact that they have wonderful parents, and you're an incredible, incredible teacher. And I just treasure all the time that we've had together. I want people to know, I love the fact that we talked about your incredible masterclass. I also love the fact that we talked about 2 of your incredible books. So I want people to also know where they can find you online. Where do you live online, so people can also be able to see some of your posts, some of possibly your videos, and so they can also kind of keep in touch with you too.
Yes, to be honest, social media has not been a strength of mine, so that is something in this year
that is okay. There's no judgment here. Look.
Yeah. be honest, it is my passion to share hope and inspiration with the world. I have a full-time career that I love and adore. So you can find me at Kristie Anne Mah on Instagram, on Facebook. I am starting a Facebook group, Mindful Expansion, and also exploring into the world of YouTube to share live videos every week within my Facebook group and YouTube. So that is where I shall be living.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, this is a question that I ask everyone who's on the Courting Happiness podcast, because Courting Happiness is all about committing to your happiness journey or committing to your well-being. How do you go about committing to your happiness or well-being journey?
It's simple. I made the choice 5 years ago, to be honest. I was always, don't get me wrong, we were always very happy people before, but when that light switch went off and we knew there was a whole deeper dimension to how much we can create our reality, it was a choice in that moment to be happy, because there's really, in my mind, no other way. It is the way of living, of sharing joy. We only get one life, and time after time it's proven to us with tragedies around the world, we have no idea where we are in the lineup. Today could be our last day, and when my kids ask me all the time, is Daddy going to die? Is Daddy going to die? You can imagine when they were 5 and 7 how difficult of a question that was to answer. And I said, we don't know. Only God and the universe know our destiny, so we can create our realities, work in that sort of co-creation capability by having gratitude for each and every moment and never take anything for granted. Have gratitude for leaving your home, look back at your home and say, you're a lovely home, because really we don't know if we'll see it again later. So happiness and gratitude are a choice to exponentially change your life and enjoy whatever time we have here.
Well, I will say this. I am so grateful for the time that you made to be here with us. Everything that you shared is as phenomenal and extraordinary as you are. Thank you so much for your time today. I am grateful that we've met, and I'm looking forward to more meetings in the future. Thank you so much for being on the Courting Happiness podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a rare opportunity when you deeply connect with someone and know you're so much on the same page. So I look forward to working with you to share hope and inspiration on a global level. 100%. You are fabulous. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. You are amazing.
We just have a whole lot of love going on here.
I know. Isn't it wonderful? Look.
Yes.
Let's continue this conversation online. Email us at podcast@drcourtneyalston.com. That's podcast@drkortneyalston.com. Join us on Instagram at Courting Happiness. Don't forget, that's courting with a K. Also, I hope you join our private Facebook community. You can find us at Courting Happiness Podcast Community. Our private Facebook group is a safe haven to share, meet more people looking to build positive relationships, focus on well-being, and create a happier life. Now, are you ready to spread happiness? We hope you subscribe and share this podcast with your family, friends, coworkers, and all the important people in your world. We release a new episode every Thursday. Congratulations on your continued commitment to your courting happiness journey. Thank you so much for listening. We want you to be well, be happier, and be kinder to yourself. We can't wait to see you next week.